Get ready for a powerhouse of inspiration. Principal Kafele. A highly regarded educator and a transformational leader, Principal Kafele has spent over 20 years in New Jersey's urban schools, making a lasting impact as both a master teacher and a turnaround principal. Under his leadership, the mighty Newark Tech transformed from a low-performing school to one of America's best, as recognized by U.S. News and World Report 3 times. A recipient of the prestigious Milken Educator Award, Principal Kafele is one of the most sought-after voices in school leadership and equity. He's delivered over 3,000 keynotes, workshops, and seminars across the nation, authored 13 books, including 7 ASCD bestsellers, and continues to empower leaders through his live-streamed AP and New Principals Academy. Please join us in welcoming the extraordinary Principal Kafele.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to week 305 consecutively. That's right, consecutively of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got checking in this morning. Oh, that list is long. Let me go back to the top. We got Robin Snowden out there in Fresno, California. She said Harambe. I say back to you, Harambe. We got Miss Yolanda McKinney. Good morning, Texas. Grace Castaneda back in Kyle, Texas. AP Patrick Lawrence is in the building, Connecticut. Constance Sherrod is down in Pearl, Mississippi. Where we at? This thing just jumped, man. We got, ooh, let me get close because I got Amelia Lange, Yules, Texas. Ronald Pugh, Cedar Hill, Texas. Hey, Ronald, did you go to TAPSY? I'll be there next year, man. I just forgot to send in my paperwork, but I need, TAPSY is like my spot, man. I'll see you next year. We got Professor M. Abbas is in the Bronx, the BX. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning, all AP. Matt from Staten Island works in the Bronx. There we go. We got the good Dr. Rachel Edeweckett, President, Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals, author, speaker, principal, doing her thing. We got Joseph Haruna is in the building. He said, greetings from Rwanda to my dearest family. Principal Kafele, it is my very warm greeting before anybody does. Man, I appreciate you, Joseph, checking in from Rwanda. I told y'all, fam, we international, man. We ain't confined to the U.S. We all over the place. Rodney Richardson, Hampton, Virginia. Otis Kitchen, Principal Otis Kitchen II, Tampa, Florida. We got Nadira Coley checking in from Newark, New Jersey. Right over the something. The highway, right? Yeah, a little water. Yeah, there we go. You know my geography ain't that good, man. Dr. Rella Hicks, Augusta, Georgia. Dr. Sonia Matthew, NBCT, National Board Certified Teacher, AP in Maryland. And she said, good morning, everybody. We got Val Foster, Great Neck, New York. Takesha High, Virginia. LaKenya Rowland, New Jersey in the building. Lysandra Bracken, I don't know if I said you yet, Lysandra, but North Carolina, no, I don't think so. Stacy Joy, LA, Los Angeles, probably nice weather out there. We still cold as ever. Chancellor Davis, Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm getting ready to wrap it up, y'all. Marsha Poe, we got all the California people together. Y'all trying to tease me, right? Marsha Poe, San Diego, California. Dr. Edwin Garcia, me back in the cold. He in Passaic, New Jersey, right? New Jersey. But I bleed Jersey, y'all. Here go another Cali. Jasmine Harris is out there in California doing a thing. Good post this week, Jasmine. I seen them all. Shawn Hurt, it's cold where he's at. Detroit, Michigan. Y'all, speaking of Shawn Hurt, 10 o'clock every Saturday morning, Facebook Live. Shawn Hurt, followed by Create and Educate with Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, followed by AP New Principals Academy, yours truly. At 11, used to be 10:55. I got to get into that habit of not saying that anymore. 11 o'clock, and then Sunday, jump on over to Sunday. Josh Tovar and Principal Josh Tovar and Dr. Madi Moreno, and that's the PGP podcast. It's 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. Right. I'm gonna close it out with none other than the Queen of the Castle. Kimberly Broughton Kafele is in the building holding it down. We're going to end it right there. And let me say formally with my hands up now that we in it, man. Good morning. Greetings. Welcome to week 305 consecutively of the AP and New Principals Academy. Hey, y'all, same question every week for 305 weeks. How y'all feel, man? How you feeling? Y'all, those of you that are regulars, you know I got stuff I want to see. Y'all know that. I'm holding back. I'll just say we at war right now. But I'm pulling back. I ain't gonna get into it. But I am wondering about the separation of powers. But let's stay focused. Let's stay focused, y'all. Right? How y'all feeling? I'm feeling good, man. Let me tell y'all. I had a flight yesterday to Richmond. Last night, I should say, late afternoon, drove to Midlothian. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I keynoted the Teacher of Promise conference in Midlothian, Virginia. Last night, we got out of there. That's like about 35 minutes from Richmond. So then drove back to the hotel, parked by the airport in Richmond so I could get up. So I got up at 3:30 this morning, caught that 6 o'clock a.m. flight, landed at about 8, maybe a little less. And here I am, man. I'm on fire, baby. I ain't got no sleep in me, but you know what I do have in me? A lot of coffee, because I have to do a panel discussion at 2 o'clock this afternoon, Eastern time. So the day don't end with the AP and New Principals Academy, baby. I'm working, man. I'm on my grind, man. I stay on that grind, man. I stay on that grind. Some of y'all know I'm president-elect, New Jersey Alliance of Black School Educators, man. That's a whole new grind with the existing grind. Oh, man. That's all right, man. God is good. Let's go. Shout out to the international. You know, last week, my wife and I went to a funeral, homegoing service for my wife's uncle. We left on Sunday because we knew the blizzard was coming. So we got 2 feet of snow on Monday, but we were gone, right? We were in the sunshine in Charleston, South Carolina, St. Stephen's to be proper. And they said flights canceled to come back home and going to stay canceled until Thursday. So we were trapped in Charleston until Thursday, right? But we made the most of it, man. A little mini vacation, man. We went to the International African American Museum in Charleston. So shout out to them, man. If you haven't been there yet, you need to, right? The International African American Museum in Charleston, South Carolina. You need to go there and take in that history, right? So shout out to them. Shout out to New Jersey Alliance of Black School Educators, man. We had what's called an informational meeting. Man, let me tell y'all something, man. We had 175 people registered. 150 people were online with us. But I guess the way they had it set up with Zoom, I guess they weren't expecting that kind of number. So it locked at 150, right? So it's 25 others that didn't even get in. So but if you're on the call right now, we got you. Right? But we doing some things here in Jersey, man. NABSE, National Alliance of Black School Educators. If you're out there, Black educator, and you're not part of your affiliate, your state affiliate, then you need to get involved, right? Just reach out to the national organization and they'll tell you how to get involved with the state organization. But if you in Jersey and you haven't heard from me, haven't heard from the president, Dr. Elford Rawls Dill, right, or any of the executive board or any of the 150 that was with us last week, then hit me up with an inbox like now, like right now. Say, like, I didn't know about this, Kafele. Right now, don't wait till later because you might forget. Right now, go to my Facebook inbox at Principal Kafele. Say, I didn't know about the meeting or I missed the meeting, whatever it is, because I need to have you in the building. I need you in the building, right? So let's make sure you reach out to me, man. We putting in work, y'all, right? So I need you to reach out to me today, like now. The time now, Eastern time is 11:10. Have that inquiry in my inbox by 11:11, right? Because I want to get you in. All right, let's go. Welcome to the first timers. If this is in fact your first time, I welcome you with open arms. But I also got to let you know that means you missed 304 previous sessions. I don't know where you're gonna find this free PD like we do. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't say that because it's me. I just don't know where you're gonna find something like this. 2 hours every Saturday of this? The caliber of people that I bring on here, Dr. Shawn Smith, Dr. Kelley, Dr. Alena Zachary Ross. Are you kidding me? Oh man, I don't know where you're gonna find it. I ain't patting myself on the back. I'm just keeping it real. So if this is your first Saturday, go to the YouTube channel, AP New Principals Academy. All 304 are sitting there, and guess who they're waiting for? They're waiting for you, right? All 304. But don't just go to the channel. Hit the subscribe button. We are at 24,900, like 950. Maybe it's more now because I haven't checked it in a few days. But we just about on the threshold of 25,000 subscribers. I'm going to see the Knicks tomorrow night. They play the Spurs. I'm going to see Wemby in the Garden. But you know something? If I brought all the subscribers to the Garden, Madison Square Garden tomorrow, 5,000 of them got to watch the game closed circuit outside. We can't even fit all the subscribers inside Madison Square Garden. How about that? So make sure you hit the subscribe button, then make sure you hit the notifications bell so that you're informed when we go live in case you forget. Let's go. What is my value? Hey, folks, real quick, because I got to get to my guest. I got to get to my monologue. If you don't have a copy yet, what are you waiting on? Right? This is the most important book I've ever written. I've written 14 books. This is the most important book I've ever written. What is my value instructionally to the teachers I supervise? Right? This is a book about instructional leadership. But I kept it easy to read. I kept it readable. I mean, it's engaging. Get yourself a copy. When? Like hit the other tab on your browser and just go on and order it now, right? If you go Amazon and you got Prime, then you get it probably tomorrow or the day after. Or you can go to the publisher, ascd.org. Hey, y'all, I got a webinar on March 10th, National Association of Elementary School Principals. I got a webinar. We're gonna be talking about the pre and post observation conference. We're gonna go in depth with that. Pre and post observation conference. That's on March 10th. So go on my Facebook page, scroll down, or my Instagram page at Principal Kafele, and look for the flyer, and then register. You can't get in there without registering. It's at 3 o'clock on March 10th, but register. Enough said there. Next, School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele. That's my institute, my annual every summer. This is July 9 and 10, Savannah, Georgia. Come to go to principalkafele.com, scroll down where it says School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele. Click the link and register. Today is the last day of the early bird special. My business partner calls it something else, but I don't even remember what she calls because I didn't read her email this morning. But for all intents and purposes, today's the last day for the early bird special, right? So go on and register today, right? And then join me in July 9 and 10, 2 full days, no other speakers, just me, and we talking instructional leadership for 2 days. Right? But it won't be what we did last year because I don't do the same thing twice, right? I got enough content in this book to last me for about 10 years just on instructional leadership alone, right? So join me there. And that takes me, I hope I got everything in. I forgot something. The Teachers of Promise Conference Institute yesterday. I didn't really say anything about that. My man, my milking brother, Wade Whitehead, who was on here with me in January. Phenomenal institute. I met some phenomenal people last night, and I keynote that institute every year, right? So just shout out to Wade, shout out to his team, shout out to everybody who's there. They're there right now. I can only stay for 1 day because I do this on Saturday, right? And then to the folks in Jersey City and beyond who will be at the State of Education panel this afternoon at 2 o'clock, shout out to you. All right, y'all, I got a monologue to do, and then I'm gonna bring up my guest. So let me get this monologue in. Y'all put your ears to the speakers, man. You know, today is the last day of Black History Month, but it's the launch into the rest of the year, right? So the Black history study, learning, research, etc. does not end. It's just the last day of this 28-day holiday. That's what it is, 28-day holiday. So those of you that frown on, oh man, it's the shortest month and all that kind of stuff I read on social media. No. It's a 28-day holiday, right? And then we use that as the springboard to go into March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, and then we go to the February 2027. That's how we treat that. So I decided with my monologue, I said, you know, my man, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, is now an ancestor. He's now part of that legacy, that history. So I said, let me close out February with the words of Dr. Kunjufu. I want to expound on something he said. I'm coming from this book. I got like a whole stack of his books on the shelf here. At least, I don't know, maybe 20. He's written like 60 though, right? But this book is different from most of them because this is not a book he wrote. This is a book that was transcribed, right? This is him talking to educators. So it's called A Talk with Jawanza, Critical Issues in Educating African American Youth, right? So I want to, before I give you my thoughts, let me just read you something that he said. There was a question here, and the question was, what do you look for in a good principal? So this is him talking to a group workshop format. And he said, what do you look for in a good principal? Listen to this, y'all. And by the way, this book was written in 1989. You really need to know that. 1989 in terms of what you're going to hear, right? To give you a better context. Listen to this paragraph. I'm only going to read you a paragraph. He said, the principal's job is very challenging. Let me do that over. The principal's job is a very challenging one because it is actually two jobs. He said there's a management function which involves running the building and all its resources. And there's also an instructional component which requires an understanding of instruction and evaluation. Inherent in management and instruction is motivating students and staff and making sure the school is safe. If I had to rank all of these areas, I would say a principal is the instructional leader of a school. Now, let me pause it there real quick, because this is 1989. And we weren't really talking instructional leadership like that back in the 80s, right? But here, Jawanza Kunjufu, who's not known primarily as a leadership trainer, you know, his claim to fame is black boys, black males, teachers, etc. But here he is talking leadership, and he's using this language. As I will read that sentence again, I would say a principal is the instructional leader of a school. This person should not be running around with a baseball bat and a bullhorn beating up students. Now you understand the times. He wrote it, he said it, so you understand the movie he's talking about, which I'm not going to name here. Schools need to be safe, but there may be someone else in the school who can provide that function. That's key. He said we can also make a school safe without turning it into a prison. One more paragraph. In my opinion, good principals arrive early or stay late to take care of the paperwork, the management end of being a principal. But during the school day, they are the instructional leaders of schools. They understand instruction and evaluation. They regularly observe teachers and they know the students. I got to read that one again. He said they regularly, he didn't say during observation season. They observe, I'm stuttering. They observe instruction. He didn't say that. He said they regularly observe teachers and they know the students. For that reason, they are able to improve and sustain academic achievement in the classroom. Let me tell y'all something with this grin on my face. This is Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu in 1989 talking principal leadership with a specific emphasis on instructional leadership. We weren't necessarily using that language the way we do now, as he's using it in 1989. In 1989, I was in my second year of teaching. I began in 1988. So my thoughts, real quick, in terms of what I just read, let me share them with you. I'm saying to somebody out there, I'm going to keep this short. If you're on this call or you see the video later, chances are very good that you are either an assistant principal, an aspiring school leader, a principal, a new principal or veteran principal or even central office, because at the central office level, I don't care what department you're in, you have some kind of relationship with a school and a principal, right? So what I'm saying to you, this Jawanza was what I read, but now Kafele's talking. You can't be in that school and then you engage in your own self-reflection at the end of the day, your self-assessment at the end of the day. And through that self-reflection and self-assessment, you come to a conclusion that I did not enter a classroom. Now, when I say enter a classroom, I'm not interested in your pop-ins just to be visible. I'm not interested in, like it matters, don't get me wrong, but that's not what I'm talking about. So those of you like myself who right after homeroom would hit the whole school and just pop in each class just to see and be seen, that's good. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about you have collegial relationships with teachers. You are methodically growing teachers throughout the course of the year equitably, because everybody in that building does not need you the same. There are some in that building that probably don't need you at all. But then there are others that need a portion of you. And then there are yet others that need the totality of you. You have to gauge who that is and what they need, what those needs may be. But as Kunjufu said, your primary role is instructional leader. So you got to hold up that mirror and you got to ask yourself, what teacher, and this is the question, matter of fact, write this one down. What teacher grew pedagogically today because I woke up this morning? Woo! Y'all missed that. Let me give it to you again. What teacher grew pedagogically today because I woke up this morning? That's the question, baby. That's the question. Is there something about the fact that you showed up, walked into that building, that some teacher grew, not just from your eyes in that classroom, but from your conversation before you went into that classroom, or your conversation after you left that classroom? If those conversations are not ongoing, if those suggestions, if those strategies are not ongoing, then I got to ask you, as your brother to you, family, what is your value to your teachers pedagogically? See, if those ongoing conversations are not happening, because again, it's not, some of us when we're young and we're new at this, we're babies at this, we think that walking in the classrooms is instructional leadership. That's a third of it, the one in the middle. But you got this other third, that conversation about this part, right over here. But then you got that other third, that conversation about what you saw, right? And then we could even expand it to a quarter, that now I got to have that conversation about next steps, right? So that's key. So I'm closing this monologue, but I want you to just keep that in mind. Ask yourself every day, what teacher benefited pedagogically because you woke up this morning? Enough said, y'all. I got guests, man, and I'm going to get them on up here now in the order upon which I see them. Boom, boom, bam. Hey, y'all. Y'all feel?
Hello.
Good, so glad to see y'all, man. So glad to see you. Hey, to the fam out there, before I introduce them, do me a favor, as always, hit that share button, hit that retweet, repost, text somebody, call somebody, holler at somebody, let them know we are here, we are live and live in color. And we're talking leadership this morning. I got three superintendents on. We got, starting at the bottom here, bottom left, we got Dr. Alena Zachary Ross from Ypsilanti Community Schools in Ypsilanti, Michigan. We got Dr. Shawn Smith from Lawrence Township, Indianapolis, Indiana, superintendent as well, both superintendents. And then we got right here in Jersey Strong, Dr. Kelley, who is superintendent Salem City Schools here in New Jersey. And it just hit me, is she's not doctor yet. Rahman, is she with you?
She is. She is with me. Yes.
But I didn't make the connection until late because I saw her present at our conference, Nurturing Greatness, and said Salem. Oh, then I thought of you, and okay, yeah, good stuff. Hey fam, let me read these bios right quick so you know who you're listening to. I'm gonna start off with Dr. Alena Zachary Ross. Is a visionary. I'm gonna go real fast, y'all, so I'm gonna stutter a whole lot, so just don't worry about it. Dr. Alena Zachary Ross is a visionary, equity-centered educational leader serving as superintendent of Ypsilanti Community Schools. She's previously led, you gotta help me with this, Okemos. Woo. I was way off. Public schools in Muskegon Heights. I know how to pronounce that one. Muskegon Heights Public Schools, where she guided transformative systems focused on achievement, organizational coherence, and community trust. Across her career, she has been known for centering learners, elevating educator practice, and cultivating leadership at every level of the organization. Her leadership is grounded in a deep expertise in learning science and adult development, building a national reputation as a skilled facilitator, certified John Maxwell coach. Her professional influence was recognized by with the 2024 AASA Dr. F.E.H. Jones Humanitarian Award. Academically, she holds a bachelor from Grand Valley State University, a master's in educational psychology from Wayne State University, and a doctorate in education leadership from Michigan State University. As a superintendent of 14 years, she's advances continuous school improvement through a comprehensive strategic plan focused on academic excellence, future-ready preparedness, and equitable resource allocation. She also leads the district's state-of-the-art AI innovation learning initiative, which integrates artificial intelligence and human-centered design into professional practice. She is nationally sought after AI and educational consultant through AZR Lead, specializing in developing reflective practitioners, high-functioning teams, and strengthening school board relations. Her approach to leadership development and coaching empowers adults to grow their cognitive capital and ensures a district culture of belonging where every scholar is prepared for college, career, and community. So those of you that may be still struggling with AI, etc., Dr. Zachary Ross might be someone you want to reach out to. Dr. Kelley here in Jersey is a transformative leader and accomplished superintendent who brings her deep commitment to equity-centered systems to her work with the Salem City School District pre-K-12 public school system located in Salem County, New Jersey. Throughout her career as a classroom teacher, administrator, and superintendent, she has focused on addressing racial, economic, and academic disparities. Dr. Kelley's contributions have not gone unnoticed. She is recognized as a national thought leader and speaker in education, receiving accolades such as the prestigious Governor's Teacher Award from the state of New Jersey and a Distinguished Superintendent Recognition Award in Illinois. Her educational journey includes 2 degrees from the University of Pennsylvania, a bachelor's degree in systems, science, engineering, and a doctorate in organizational and educational leadership from the Graduate School of Education. Additionally, she holds an MBA from Darden School of Business at the University of Virginia. Finally, she's currently in Middletown, Delaware. Let me do that again. Currently residing in Middletown, Delaware. Dr. Kelley is a proud mom of 2 adult sons, Jordan and Austin. One more, man. Let me tell you something, Dr. Smith. I had to edit that down a little bit, man. It would have taken me a long time.
You can make it short.
Dr. Shawn A. Smith, PhD, Indianapolis native. Dr. Shawn A. Smith has served as superintendent of the Metropolitan School District of Lawrence Township since January 2014, leading one of Indiana's largest and most diverse school districts. Under his leadership, the district has earned and sustained a reputation for academic excellence, innovation, fiscal responsibility, and community partnership. Under academic leadership and innovation, Dr. Smith has driven academic achievement through cutting-edge initiatives, launching a teacher leadership academy and opening Lawrence Advanced Academy in 2014, initiating new era of innovation and progressive leadership. In 2018, district-wide one-to-one device rollout extended digital access K-12. His tenure also saw the expansion of Spanish dual immersion programs and STEM initiatives district-wide. Graduation rates surged from 86% to 95%, and early childhood education was strengthened through NAEYC accreditation and the expansion of year-round preschool. Let me give you a couple more, fam, and then we're gonna get going. Dr. Smith's influence extends beyond district boundaries. He has received numerous accolades, including the 2025 Central State Simon Award, 2024 NNELL Award, and the Metropolitan School District of Lawrence Township was recognized as Best Public Schools in the 2024 Best Things Community Choice Awards. As a thought leader, he has presented at education conferences and served on advisory boards for education, community health, and youth development nationwide. Lastly, Dr. Smith holds a PhD in educational leadership and an EDS in school administration from Indiana State University. He earned his MS in secondary school administration and supervision from Indiana University and his BS in secondary education with a focus on social studies and Indiana University Bloomington. He's not only committed to educating students and serving the community, but is also dedicated to his family. He has 3 adult children, Dr. Olivia Smith, Maya Smith, and Jordan Smith. That's our bios. Great stuff, strong stuff, fam. Let's jump into it. But one more time to the family out there, hit the share button, retweet, repost, text somebody, tag somebody, call somebody, holla at somebody. But the other thing, make sure you hit that like button for me, y'all. This is we live in an algorithm-driven world. So hit that like button. Let's say you dislike it, just like it anyway. You're on here with me, so you must like something. So hit the like button, and that triggers them algorithms. So I got a question that for the first one, I'm not going to ask any specific one of you. Just jump on in here on this one. I got 2 of these, this one and later on. There's an AP out there, like right now, probably on this call right now, who wants to be a principal, right? An AP who is well prepared, has extensive experience and effectiveness as an AP, but is intimidated by fear of the unknown, right? Of the principalship, right? A fear of failure, if you will, right? Or just the prospects of being number one. My question to anybody out here, I mean, any of the 3 of you, not question, but my ask of you, what would you say to this person, right? What advice would you give this person who's obviously doing well as an AP, but just a little intimidated about the prospects of going to that next level? Anybody?
I can jump in. Hi, everyone. Good morning. So I would say, number one, to not think that you're the only person that hesitates before you do something that's new. I would suggest that you give yourself grace and you still do it. They say that the definition of courage is not that you're without fear. It's that you might have some anxious thoughts, but you keep moving forward anyway. And I also strongly believe, and I would say to you that what God has for you is for you. So if that door opens, that means that you are perfectly equipped, even though you may not feel as if you are perfectly equipped to do that role, because God will supply everything that you need to do it. You will have the resources, you'll have people on your team. And I don't think any of us that are on this panel could say to you that every, aspect of our job that we are 100% experts in. But we have people on our team, we have people in our networks where we can lean on them and still get the job done. And then I would lastly say to you, someone said this to me years ago, that you want to currently work as if you are in the role that you are seeking. So, try to use this time now to get those experiences on your plate. You don't have to be perfect to go for the role. But if that door opens for you, and if you are the selected candidate, then that means that role is for you. And you just have to lean on your network to get the work done.
I absolutely love that. I love it. Anybody else want to jump in?
Well, I can jump in. I tell you, thank you so much for that, Dr. Kelley, because I'm with you 100%. You talked about the person would have all of these desires and be ready, except for that fear. If they have that desire, then you're ready. You're ready for it, because you're not going to be moved. You're not going to have the desire for that lead position if you're not called for it and you're already equipped for it. We know right now we're in the middle of a changing world. Who knew a pandemic would come? Who knew we would be dealing with ICE? Who knows what's going to happen in the next realm? And so we always say the most flexible person in the room is the most sourceful person and the most influential. So remember to be flexible and give yourself that grace that Dr. Kelley talked about. So for you, go for it. Look for that space that is called for you. What is that district? What is that position? Make sure that those skills that you already have align to that drive that you're feeling right now. And so if that position meets that drive, apply for it. Don't hesitate, because there's a reason in which that you're have that calling. I do agree with Dr. Kelley, though. Don't wait to get the position. It's right now the time to be studying. What is it that your principal is doing that you love? What is it that your principal is doing that you would like to grow, that you would think that you might want to do a little bit differently? Look at other principals around. What about their character? What about their behavior? What about their actions that you aspire to do for yourself? And how do you grow your own capacity and capabilities? You don't wait till you get into the position, but while you're thinking about it, while you're aligning your skill set to the position that you're going to, it's time to prepare yourself. Preparation plus opportunity meets that time in which you're going to take that leadership role. Just go ahead and do it.
I love it. Dr. Smith, jump on
Hey,
in.
I'm going to jump in, and I'm just going to give it from real world experience because I've done all the jobs. I'm a superintendent, but I spent 15 years as a building administrator, serving as a middle school and high school principal. So I understand. For those of you that are out there, I know it's so easy to Google or use Chat GTP. They're going to give you the answer. Listen to these folks. Sometimes the wisdom comes from us, comes from people. And Dr. Kelley alluded to the spiritual side of this work. If you believe that you have the answer or you know when it's going to be right for you, then good luck to you, because none of us knew that. For myself, I was sitting in my office and I got a call from a superintendent. I had to move to another school. And I cried because I worked for a living legend as an assistant principal at that time. But the move to the other school was a school that I had interviewed for previously, maybe 5 years before that, and I didn't get the job. I went to another school. And so I ended up being the principal of a school in which the people didn't hire me. And so this work is truly spiritual. You don't get to pick where you're going to go. If you have that kind of power, God bless you. I've never had that, and you will probably never, ever have that. And so when that door opens, you have an opportunity of a lifetime to make a difference. And so when that door opened as a middle school principal on the other side of town, I took advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime to become a principal, and I didn't have a say so. So as much as I wanted to hold on to my other school because I was comfortable, it was the best opportunity for me. And the door opened. It was one of the greatest experiences that I had. Many of those people, when I became superintendent of the district that I'm serving in, those staff members showed up over here because they were behind me. And that's what it's all about.
Wow. Powerful stuff, y'all. You know, Dr. Smith, let me stay with you. I get a lot of inboxes, more than I can handle, right? Between all the platforms I'm on and then the emails. I get a lot from principals. I get a lot from APs, probably more from APs. And then I read a lot of those leadership groups on Facebook. So I really get and then the people I meet in person, obviously. So a lot of what I want to share with you all in the fam this morning is coming from that, right? So starting off with you, Dr. Smith, let's talk about the principal assistant principal relationship, right? It doesn't always work. We know that, right? And in a lot of cases, because it's not working, or either the lack of communication, or it's not working and now the communication is gone, so you put it, whatever the sequence may be. So here, how does an assistant principal who is hungry for moving to that next level and just wants to be successful and productive in their current capacity, how does that assistant principal, being the number 2 and not the number 1, initiate communication with this principal to get us back to where we need to be, so that I'm in a relationship that's productive for that school? I'm not putting the onus on the principal in this particular question to you. I'm putting it on the AP.
Right. Well, I think I had the privilege of working in the state of Indiana for a gentleman who was the first African-American outside of the Indianapolis public schools to become a school administrator. And he had been principal by the time I worked with Dr. Wilson, and he's since passed. He was a legend. And so I learned from the old school. When you talk about being a man, it was a totally different world. Listen, you didn't get to mouth off. You didn't get to do any of it wasn't about me. But one of the things that I learned very quickly from Dr. Rudy Wilson was two things, was loyalty and hard work. I brought my notepad in his office when he called me, and I simply went to work. I had to trust in the system. And what I got from that man was the unbelievable opportunity of a lifetime to learn every aspect of school administration. And I just listened, and I put my nose to the grind, and I just simply learned how to do the job. That when I got into the principalship, I had to thank him, because I didn't realize at the time how much he had taught me. And so it wasn't about me. It was about simply doing the job. Nothing about the personality, because, he was from the old school. He expected for me to work as hard as he did. And I did. I didn't complain about it, but I simply went into that building every day, and I was loyal to him and the staff. And I simply got that notebook and did what he asked me to do. And I think sometimes people complicate. It wasn't about his personality. It was about the job. And I would advise young assistant principals, separate yourself away from, you don't have to like a person to work alongside of them. The word is respect. And there are a whole lot of people, as I tell my administrators, I don't like some of you because sometimes you do things that I don't like. But I respect you to be able to do the job. And you've got to be able to categorize that.
Yeah. I want to stay with you, Doc, one more, and then I'm gonna move. Let's flip that. Let's invert what I just asked you. And this relationship's not working. There's a breakdown in communication as a result, or the breakdown is the reason, whatever sequence we're going to use. But let's go to the principal on this one. How is a principal to initiate making this relationship work with the assistant principal so that we've got a team that's working effectively?
Well, I'm from the adage, if somebody's failing, then as a leader, it's really my fault. I got to check myself first, leaders. If someone is not successful in what they're doing, I always check myself first. Am I communicating correctly? Am I sharing the correct information? I don't necessarily blame them at first, but I try to work through, trying to figure out what's breaking down here. Do I need to have more communication? Do I need to give more direction so that the individual understands what it is that I want from them as the building principal? And I had several assistant principals, including working on a high school staff where I think at the time we had like 8 assistant principals, in this large 3,500 student high school. It was about maximum communication on a daily basis.
Yeah. Let me move on to Dr. Zachary Ross. Doc, there's an assistant principal out there who's being utilized primarily as a disciplinarian. That is not the reason that this AP came into school leadership, though. But this person has been reduced to a disciplinarian. They supervise cafeterias during the lunch periods. They're loading buses, and they're doing other ancillary, tertiary things that have nothing to do with instruction, nothing to do with what I talked about during the monologue, right? They are therefore frustrated with the work, discouraged. And as I read on all those Facebook group pages, they want back into the classroom, right? They don't want this, right? So what are your thoughts on how to free up time for this assistant principal to be able to do the aspects of the work, the leadership, particularly on the instructional side, as opposed to what I just described?
Yeah, thank you for that. First of all, you talked about one thing is that communication. So communicating what that goal is, that you want to be that instructional leader, and that all the time we're always educators. So even in those spaces, looking for those opportunities to be proactive, get into those classrooms, building those relationships with the scholars, building the relationships with the educators, so that there's less time of discipline anyway coming to the office. So if they're in those classrooms talking to those teachers that they see the referrals coming to, come on, let's be in the class, let's get into that classroom, let's coach that teacher, let's have that conversation so that there's less disciplinary referrals, and that maximizes that time. In the lunchroom, there's a lot of opportunity to have some conversations with scholars, but then thinking about like how to invite them into the classroom, because when the teacher hears that, and even the administrator, you talked about having that conversation with the administrator, you know, there's a lot of influence that an assistant principal can have. And so putting those ideas in the lunchroom about what do the scholars need? What do they want in the classroom? How can you come in there and be that support? And as they're building that relationship, going back to the building principal and to the teachers about how can I use that time to come in there to reduce those disciplinary infractions that could happen. Again, it's about being proactive and thinking with the instructional hat about how might this happen, how might we re-instruct our scholars about how to behave in those areas, how to then take these as learning opportunities. And then even on the bus, what can I do differently? Can I do something and have an after school club instead of just being on the bus duty? And really talking about getting into that classroom. Like you said, it's not just about walkthroughs, but how can I be an instructional leader? What might be some ways in which you build those areas of trust, build those areas of people who know what your gift is? Because a lot of times the assistant principal, we don't know what it is. You have some talents, you have some gifts, you know what it is about pedagogy that is your jam. Well, what is it? Do the other teachers know about it? Have you shared that with the scholars? Because they might go in there. You know, you've heard those scholars say to the math teacher, hey, Mr. Such and such or Miss Such and such knows this. I wish they'd come in here. And then they can come in and assist and co-teach and support the teacher. So we've got to, you know, you've got to navigate and think about ways in which you can put yourself in those spaces and give those instructional pieces to teachers and to the scholars whenever you can.
Yeah. No, I love it. Let me ask you a follow-up. As I said earlier, a principal could have had their past life as an AP as that non-instructional leader, right? So now here I am, principal, and I don't know anything else in terms of how I utilize my AP. My question to you: how do we, and particularly being superintendent, all three of you, but for you, Dr. Zachary Ross, how do we change the thinking of that particular, the mindset, if you will, of that particular principle that you have an asset here, right? And I understand the whole rationale around, well, the culture is whatever, and I have to utilize the person this way. In fact, they might not say the culture. They'll probably say the student behavior is just problematic. I will say, no, it's not the student behavior. It's the culture of the building, which is giving license for that behavior, right? So going back to the question then, how do we change the mindset of that leader to understand that you have gold, diamonds in that assistant principal if you utilize that person correctly? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. So I think it is that, you know, we got to make sure people understand this about that collective responsibility. Like using everybody in your building, that administrative team is powerful. And so making sure, for me as a superintendent, that is part of my job, and my role is making sure that they see it as everybody there is an educator. How do we build on the strengths? Because you as the principal aren't going to have all of the strength. You have some gifts, but they also have some gifts too. So they've got to be able to see what is it that they do well, but then what is it that they can build from the other person. So one thing that is that teamwork. And you asked that question at the beginning. So the principal needs to be asking themselves, what do I do well? What do I need support with? Who can I lean on my team? And then even the assistant principal needs to be, you got some voice. You are an administrator because you were put in that role because you have some strength, you have some skills, you have some abilities. And so open your mouth. Tell them what your skills are. Let them know in a graceful way, in a respectful way, in a way that builds collective responsibility. They have a vision. Allow them to see that that vision aligns together, and that where you are that asset. So it's about both the principal and the assistant principal working together to build on each other's strengths. We talk so much about our deficits in our educational spaces, the deficits of the students' behaviors, the deficits of the teachers, the deficits of my AP. They are gifts. They are gold. And so where is it that we use those strengths, and having that principal think about their strengths, but then, okay, this is my weak area. How do I build and use the people around me to balance, to bring forth our scholars and make them move forward? And so it's really about having them to really be humble a little bit and tell themselves that they're not the end all and be all. Yes, we answer, and we are the final answer in that building as the building leader. But there's also people around us that we can use to elevate student achievement. What is it that we can do? Because it's going to take everybody in that building. So it's having the whole team to help, not just the assistant principal, but the whole team to help think about what are the strengths of everybody on that team.
Love it, love it, love it. You know, Dr. Kelley, I got two that I wrote, but I'm gonna throw a third at you. This young lady, Adrian S. Young, I believe, Adrian, I believe you wrote me this morning or last night, and I made a note that I will respond. I just haven't had time this morning, but I believe you wrote me. But then now I see you here, you're on YouTube, and you said, thank you for this question. I was just appointed as a principal this week after serving as an AP after 1 year and 7 months. Dr. Kelley, I just want to ask you, and if anybody else wants to jump in, but I want to start with you because it was your turn. Dr. Kelley, give this young lady some advice. She's stepping into a principalship in the month of, I guess, March. Right? That ain't as easy as September.
So first of all, congratulations, and definitely congratulations for stepping up to this opportunity. I would say, as a new principal, one of the things that I would do is conduct, I call them empathy interviews with each member of your team. And as we heard from the two superintendents before, ask the question, ask them like what they see as their strengths, what they see as, where they're bringing their very best to the equation. So that would be the first thing that I would do, like have empathy interviews with, if depending upon the size of your school, definitely your leadership team, definitely with your teacher leaders. And if your school is small enough, I would try to meet one-on-one with each person. And, do, if you've not already done it, do almost like an entry plan based upon the responses and what you've learned. The other thing that I would try to do is, and you probably have already done this, is have like systems and structures for how frequently you meet with your leadership team and also your building leadership team. And what are the key metrics that you review each and every time that you meet? And what are the action plan or the goals that you've set for each other? So that you can, work together as a leadership team. And then I would say, do not forget about your network outside of your building, whether that's within your district or, as Principal Kafele was talking earlier, if it's with your local affiliate of NATSB, or, whatever your professional learning network is, this group. So reach out if you have any questions and really try to support. But the thing that I would say is look at the work now almost as if you are a scientist. You're doing the work, but you also need to give yourself the space and the time to reflect on what's working well and what are the areas that you want to make improvements, and then just readjust your course of action. So hopefully I answered your question. Definitely reach out to me if you want to follow up some more.
I love it. And I'm going to ask the two of you if you want to chime in. But before I do, Adrian, I hope you got that pen out and that pad out, right? or you're using your electronic device. But this wasn't even part of the plan this morning. But I know that the advice that they're giving you is relevant for everybody that's on the call and everybody who will see the video. So I wanted to seize upon the moment and do this. So anybody else want to jump in and give this young lady some advice?
She cannot fail. I've served the district as superintendent for a very long time, and I'm just going to be honest with you. One of the secret sauce to that is the success of our school leaders. If I'm going to be successful as a school superintendent, I have to have principals who are successful. I have to pour into you. The system has to pour into you. When we talk about that relationship between the principal and assistant principal, it's a package deal. They have to succeed. And if there is a lack of communication, then I have to role model that for my principals, how to work with their assistant principals, how the assistant principal has to learn from the principal and vice versa. We have to cultivate that leadership, because if I'm going to be successful as a superintendent, I'm giving the keys to that principal. And I always tell them, I'm giving you keys to a Cadillac, a Lexus, whatever I'm giving you. Right, you can't wreck it. You can wreck a school by having a mentality that's just distorted, just messed up. How can an assistant principal only be responsible for discipline? I got one person in the building who's ultimately the leader, but no one else is a leader in that building. I mean, you're going to destroy a school if that's all you see in your assistant principal. The assistant principal, in my view, is the next level to being a principal. So I've got to pour into you to make sure you understand everything that it takes in order to lead a school. And that's not pigeonholing you into one system. So our district, we expect for our assistant principals to walk alongside of the principals and learn our instructional framework and how to evaluate. We expect for the assistant principals to sit in a meeting with the superintendent. Now, I know I'm crazy, but I got a lot of assistant principals, but I guarantee them twice a year, I'm going to meet with every single one of my assistant principals. Wow. Because I'm vested in you. I meet with them, I talk with them, I try to motivate them and encourage them to go to the next level. I also meet with them about quarterly, where I bring them in and simulate to them the same meeting we have with our leadership team, our principals and cabinet. I bring the entire group in. I bring them in so they can learn how their principals are meeting with us. And then I tell them, look around the room, you have to network with this huge group of people that I have in the district. This is your support group. And I want you to meet, you're a high school principal, I want you to meet this elementary school that's 20 miles away from you. You need to meet these people, because one day you guys are going to be leading something in this district or wherever you may be. So for us as superintendents, it's at a very high level. We have to invest in you to make sure that you can go to that next level to become a principal. Great districts do that.
Wow. Dr. Zachary Ross, before you go, let me stay here. Let me stay there for a minute, because you said something, man. I can't just gloss over it. You said, I'm giving you the keys. Don't wreck this Lexus.
Cannot.
Don't wreck this Benz. I'm giving you the keys, man. See, I don't know why I didn't come up with that, right?
Let me take it the other way, Principal. Sometimes we talk about central office, who the stars are in the district. I flip it on everybody. See, we behind the scenes, the executive producer of this movie, but my high school principal, that's Denzel Washington. Okay, that's the star of the show. That's the star of the show. If you are leading a school out there, you are the star of the show when it comes to leading a school corporation. The parents don't know who my cabinet members are. They know the superintendent's name because they'll call us and cuss us out. But the principal is number one. The principal is everything to that school community and those parents. Okay. You are everything. And that's why we have to get this right.
I love it. I love it. Woo. Go ahead, Doc.
Amen.
Well, again, congratulations, Adrian. And you're going to get it right. You will get it right. I do say, again, like Dr. Kelley said, get your systems and structures in place as soon as possible and stay with it. Be consistent, because you know what? One thing people don't want is a leader that comes in and doesn't follow through on what they're going to do and what they say. So if you set it up to meet with them on Mondays, meet with them on Mondays. Do what you said you're going to do, because people don't follow your words, they follow what you do. Secondly, make sure they know your expectations. People need to be clear. What does Brene Brown say? Clear is kind. Be clear about what your expectations are. You know, you've been an assistant principal. People, you've been probably a teacher. People need to know that you're coming in new. As Principal Kafele said, we all understand we passed the half of the year. We're planning for next year already. So they're thinking like, okay, who is this person? What are they about? What are their expectations? What are your expectations? Are you clear about them? And do they know it? So communication is crucial. So think about building those relationships. Yes, when you're doing those empathy interviews, but then how are you communicating with them? What is that method that you're having, not just one way, but two-way pieces of communication? Think about it. Be very clear about what those two-way pieces of communication are in your building. Yes, have that weekly newsletter, but then what is that opportunity for feedback? Two-way communication. And then make sure they do know who you are at some level. Again, in that relationship, it's not just about you getting to know them, because that's so important. Now, don't let them get all into your personal business, but what do they know about you? What are your strengths in leadership? What are your strengths in pedagogy? What are your strengths in behavior management? How are they going to find that out? So think about those things and make sure that you share it out.
Great stuff. Great stuff, Adrian. We gave you a lot. And to the fam on the call right now, I'm talking about the veterans now, the ones who are like my family, but you know who you are. If you can, some of you make yourselves available to Adrian. I'm going to assume that Adrian is family of us now. So y'all you know who you are. Make yourselves available to her. We want to see her successful. We really want to see her successful. She's doing this and going into March, right? That's not the easiest time of the year to take over a school. So those of you that can, make yourselves available to her, as I already have a connection to her, and I'll be in touch with her. Hey, Dr. Kelley, let's jump into it a little bit.
Okay.
When I was a fifth grade teacher going through my internship, my assistant superintendent, who was my mentor, you may know of him, Dr. Kenneth King. He was the human resources guru of New Jersey, right? But he happened to be our boss. Well, he came into we used to meet in the conference room every day, about 2-3 times a week. And he came into the conference room one day with all these books and all these pamphlets, and they were policy manuals, contracts, and he put them on the table. And he said to me, you have to become conversant in every document on this table. So what he put on the table was district policy, those thick manuals, state statutes and codes, special ed law, IDEA, all teacher contracts, and all other contracts of the district. I'm teaching fifth graders, and he's saying, know these. Right? My question to you, is it necessary that an assistant principal is conversant in these documents? And if so, how does a principal ensure that the AP is in fact conversant in that list of documents that I just listed?
So the short answer to the first part of your question is absolutely yes. Particularly the collective bargaining agreement and also board policy. I would say, in terms of like state admin code and things of that nature, most of the board policy is related to that. So I would say, of the documents that you mentioned, be very familiar with your CPA and also your board policy. Now, a lot of school districts use services like Strauss Esme, and they have like an online portal. And even if your district does not use the Strauss Esme service, your board policy should be somewhere on your district's website. And if it's not on your district's website, you want to get in contact with your business office in your school district to get a copy, an electronic copy of that policy. And the way, if I were a principal, that I would assist my AP with being very familiar with the documents is almost requiring them or requesting that everything that they do, every recommendation that they make, or everything that they do, how does this tie back to board policy? I would just constantly ask the question, have you looked at the CBA? Is there anything that, this decision, this recommendation would be in violation of? But those are the two primary for the assistant principals. Every person in the district really should be very familiar with those documents for the district that they work for. And for those people who are exploring other opportunities, you want to make sure that you are familiar with that information for the districts that you're going out to interview with. So I think those in particular are very important to be familiar with.
I love everything you said, and let me say to the fam out there, hey fam, let's say that you're on the call right now, you're watching the video later on, and as this question was posed and Dr. Kelley responded to it, you're sitting there saying to yourself, I don't really know district policy, or I really don't know special ed law, IDEA. I really don't know teacher contracts. I really don't know the other bargaining unit contracts. I don't know them, right? Then you have work to do starting maybe today, right? Because if you don't know those contracts, you may be making decisions that are in direct violation of the clauses within the contract. So you've got to be very familiar with contracts, but you've also got to be very familiar with law, and you got to be very familiar with policy. So let that be your homework assignment from all of us, right? But my follow-up to you, Doc, in this under this theme, I need a strong AP, a two-parter. How do we encourage an AP how does the principal encourage an AP to feel comfortable taking initiative where appropriate, but by the same token, feeling comfortable to approach the principal to offer suggestions for new initiatives?
I think going back to something, and I don't know if it was Dr. Smith or Dr. Zachary Ross who said it, having systems and structures in place, as a principal, you want to have like your leadership team meetings. And I think what you do as a principal will just keep going with you. So as superintendent, I'm sure we could all say we meet like on a weekly basis, maybe even more, depending on the time of the year with our cabinet team. You want to have systems and structures in place that you're meeting, if you're a principal, routinely with your assistant principal, routinely with your full building leadership team. So that would be inclusive of your school counselor, your teacher leaders, or, however your district organizes around your school leadership team. And if your district does not have that structure in place, I would design it just for your building. And you have, I think, Dr. Zachary Ross talked about, you have like a set agenda. Personally, my agendas, I start off with kudos. I want people to talk about give a shout out to yourself, give a shout out to members of your team. What are you proud of, that happened in the last week? We do things personally, like, do you have like a anniversary coming up, or, did something happen, that you're really excited about? And then we go into metrics. But I think if you have like a routines in place where you're regularly meeting with your team, that does help to give your assistant principal the space and the time to bring things to the table that they want to explore. And if I think it's just strong leadership for the principal. If the principal does not do those things, I still think it's important that the assistant principal bring, suggestions to the principal. It may be, a book that, you talked about, like, after school on Wednesdays, I want to start a book club for those teachers that are interested. It may be something that they want to do with the students. But I think if the principal, organizes their week where they have that time and space with the assistant principal, that does help to establish the relationship. It helps to establish the trust. It allows for you to document what you said that you want to accomplish. You have accountability measures there. And it also helps the principal to give ongoing coaching and support to that AP by doing that.
I appreciate that. Good stuff. Hey, fam out there, a lot of just a ton of great content this morning. I hope you're getting that all in. I got one more for you all. This just for everybody, whoever wants to jump on, and then we go to those talking points. Instructional leadership. I talk about it all the time. That newest book I wrote is all about it. That's where I am professionally in terms of just the space I occupy. Instructional leadership is everything for me. So with that said, thinking about our theme today, I need a effective assistant principal. How would we get? Let's say there's hypothetically an assistant principal in a school who's that stereotype of that disciplinarian that we've been talking about. How do we go about helping the AP? How would a principal go about helping an AP to develop an instructional mentality and instructional work ethic and an instructional focus? So my emphasis here is the principal. How do we help that principal to help that AP to once again have an instructional mentality, an instructional work ethic, and an instructional focus? Anybody jump on in here?
I can jump in really quickly, and I'm going to talk to that new principal that we were just giving advice to, because as some might say, this is not necessarily an ideal time to start, but in one aspect, it is a great time, in my opinion, to start, because she could use this time period as a way to get to know the community, to set up some systems and structures, but also use this as an opportunity, once you gather that feedback from your stakeholders, to plan for the upcoming school year. So if I were a principal by early April, I would be sitting down with not just my administrative team, but some teacher leaders, maybe depending on the age of your school, some student, as a part of that leadership team. I would be looking at the data that we've collected so far. I would be thinking, obviously tying into your district strategic plan. I would be thinking about what are goals that we want to establish for ourselves. And based on those goals, I would be thinking about what are the actions of the adults, of the teachers, of the leaders, of, they can't, speak for the district, but as leaders, what, if we want the students to get to point X, Y, and Z, what do we want to see the teachers doing? And as leaders, what do we need to do to support the teachers in doing that? So if I were the principal, I would be doing some of this action planning around our leadership actions, and then coming up with specific metrics. For example, we only have 3 schools in my very small district, just 3 schools. But one of the leadership practices is for those leaders to get into classrooms every week. And the leaders came up with 10 classroom visits where they're giving targeted feedback to the teachers around the two, actions that we wanted to see this school year. But as that principal with your leadership team, coming up with that action plan, starting with what is it that you want to see the students do? And based on that, what would the teachers need to do? Therefore, what would the leaders need to do in terms of their practices? Once you set up those metrics, then you, as I think Dr. Zachary Ross was saying, you just, hold yourself accountable to that in the next school year.
Powerful.
Sounds good. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anybody else want to jump in?
I'd love to join. I'd love to join that, because just to go off of going into that routine, just really thinking about that leader. Number one, the principal should be the instructional leader. So if they are having their data conversations and you're looking at your data, you're bringing that assistant principal along, having that same data conversation with the principal. If you're doing your weekly notes to the teachers about what learning intentions are we looking for this week, then that's what the assistant principal should also be looking for when they are walking through. And the principal should be setting an expectation that when you guys are walking through, then you should be looking for these same learning intentions. Are the learning intentions matching what you're seeing happening in classroom instruction? And then are you having a conversation if that's not happening? So giving that person the knowledge about the data, knowledge about what the learning targets and intentions are, an authority to make sure that, yes, if we're seeing that these things are congruent, those should be happening. And then, are you doing instructional rounds with your assistant principal? It should not just be that they are, as you said, in the cafeteria and all those places. Even if they are, you got some time during the year to do instructional rounds with them, because you have to be able to have time to be able to talk about the data to move the building forward. So when are those times? If they've got to be in the cafeteria sometimes or those other spaces, when are those targeted times that you're going to do the data review? When are you going to do the instructional rounds? When are you going to pause and reflect on the feedback that you're receiving from the staff? And so making sure that those systems, that's why I talked about the systems in place and structures in place. And if the assistant principal knows that they're accountable for it, then they can also, they can be ready. They can be abreast. They're staying astute, and they're having those conversations with the educators.
Good stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
very good stuff.
Good, Dr. Smith.
I got three things that I think are essential for an assistant principal to be successful and with instruction, and this comes directly from the principal. The principal's got to create an atmosphere, a structure where there is communication and interaction on a daily basis with the assistant principal. And I got to quantify this because we got a lot of new things, because when I first became an assistant principal, we didn't have cell phones. So sometimes we like to text each other and put texting out of it. If you're a principal, you're texting your assistant principal to do things, I want you to stop that. We need to be in the office together, okay? Create a structure where we're meeting on a regular basis and we're looking eye to eye and we're working together as a team. And as your leader, I am giving to you what's needed in order for you to be successful, including instruction. So I role model for you what I want in terms of instruction in the building, how to evaluate, how to do the walkthroughs or whatever that you have, your instructional framework. But I role model that as the principal. I role model the evaluation process, how I want you to do the evaluation process so that you can grow with me or whatever the district initiatives are. And then thirdly, I give you feedback. I worked for a brother, was a bad brother, was superintendent for 14 years in a neighboring district, learned so much from him, working underneath him. Mr. Nate Jones was superintendent of Pike Township here in Indiana. And Nate had this uncanny ability to give you feedback on your evaluations. He would critique my evaluations and give me feedback on them. And so I took that strategy into my principalships and into my district to help people grow. Because if you can get it written the right way or say the right thing, you could take a teacher and take them to the next level. If we just take all that up, bottled up, and keep it in our office, and we don't share it amongst our assistant principals, then we don't grow leadership in our district. That's how serious this is. In order to make this district move forward, one person can't do it inside of the building. We have to have an entire team. And I go back to what I said earlier about my building leaders. They are the stars of the show. They have to be equipped with every tool to be successful. Because if you look at the research and data, we do a lot at central office. We pay the bills. When you're talking about moving the needle with instruction and impacting kids, it is about the principal and the team of leaders that you have in the building.
You know, you said once again, I don't want to gloss over something you just said in terms of how you learn to write an evaluation. I just want to holler at the fam real quick. To write an evaluation is a skill. It's not just writing your thoughts, because on the one hand, you want to be as comprehensive about what you saw as you can, but you want to be as instructive as you can at the same time, because we're trying to build people, not break them down, unless you are trying to get somebody to find another position, right? But outside of that, you know, that's what we'll call that the extreme. We're trying to build people, but there's a skill, there's an art to writing an evaluation, right? So ask yourself, who's mentoring me, right? Who's my mentor? My mentor was the individual that I just named, Dr. Kenneth King, and he was very thorough in teaching me how to write an evaluation, an observation, how to document anything, you know. So when I was starting out, he'd ask me to forward my memos to him before I was forwarding memos to my staff, just to see if I was progressing along. So ask yourself, fam, who's mentoring you? Who's helping you in that regard? Because, you know, I don't know this definitively, but I have to make an assumption that there are a lot of us who write evaluations who have never been taught a thing about writing evaluation. We just do it, right? So ask yourself, who's making me proficient in this particular aspect of my leadership? It's an important aspect, that evaluation instrument. Good stuff. Did I get everybody on that one? Think so. Let's go to these talking points. Let's do as many as we can before our time is up. We'll start off with Dr. Zachary Ross here. Let me just find it. Here we go. Where we at? Here we go. Let me read this for the fam. It says, you shared with me, and for those of you who may be new to the platform, we do these sessions in two parts. I generate my own questions based on the topic, and then I ask my guests to send me 3 talking points that speak to anything they're passionate about in education, right? And then I may ask a question to tie it into the theme, depending on time. But Dr. Zachary Ross said systemic reconfiguration is the necessary foundation for educational equity, ensuring every school leader is equipped to provide a high-quality learning environment, which is key in every district. Tell us what you're saying.
Yeah, so for me, when I went into that district, we didn't have instructional coaches in every building. And in some buildings we had, and I'm talking about the lower L, we had deans, we had assistant principals, we had nothing. So for the systemic reconfiguration part, I have a principal in every building, an instructional coach, and I call them climate and culture coaches. They can be considered your assistant principal. So where are we putting our money? I put my money in the buildings. I took it out of central office. I have a lot less people in central office, but every single building has an instructional coach and a climate and culture coach, because the system is built for that student and that teacher to succeed. So we have to have that system, and the system's supposed to work together. Then and that gives that educational equity in every building, that instructional lens and that behavior lens. Then ensuring that the school leaders are equipped every single Tuesday. Every Tuesday, my principals know we set aside learning 9:30 to 11:30. Is it, we have scholars first? That's the one we look at data. We have one in which they're just the principals, in which is their agenda, that we're building their capacity. Is it about evaluation? Is it about human resources? Whatever it is, it's just them. And then that next one is the building and central office. We bring in Tom Burton. We bring in Mark Abraham. We brought in you, of course, Principal Kafele. We bring them in so that we can learn together, because that's a part of if we don't equip the building administrators, how are they going to go do the work? And so doing that work is key, so that that learning environment is that focus. It can't be just PD about discipline or PD about growth and leader, but it's about instructional pedagogy, about how do they grow their craft. And I just believe that every district, if we focus on building those leaders, then our scholars will grow as well, because they're going to go and see what's happening in those classrooms. They're going to ensure that whatever professional learning we're purchasing, if it's Goldie Muhammad, if it's Zaretta Hammond, that we have all these wonderful people, you can't have, that's not, the one and done doesn't work. They've got to make sure that the work is happening in the classrooms, and that they're supporting the educators. So with high expectations that we have of those principals, we also have to give them a high level of support.
Love it. Let me stay with you. That educational equity, that's anybody that knows me knows that that's going to jump out at me. So my high school story is well documented, so I don't need to go in depth, but there's certainly got to be somebody on here that would not know, because we pick up new people every week. But in a nutshell, your host this morning, to the fam out there, spent 5 years in high school, failed everything except PE, and for the next 5 years did absolutely nothing. Went on to undergrad school and graduated summa cum laude. So that caused me to where, we use the expression, someone has a chip on their shoulder. I got a whole boulder on my shoulder, because for me to go to undergrad school and grad school and to perform the way that I did, but having to spend 5 years in high school in 4 different New Jersey high schools, means that in 4 different schools, a whole lot of teachers let me slip through the cracks. A whole lot of people beyond teachers let me slip through the cracks, and was probably valedictorian material, right? If not valedictorian, at least National Honor Society, right? And I say that in all sincerity. So now with this equity, my question to you, Dr. Zachary Ross, how do we ensure, based on what you wrote and what you said, how do we ensure that the young Principal Kafeles of the world receive an equitable opportunity to be successful in their class?
And that's why we got to set up systems. For example, at our high school, we have several tracks. We have the IB track, but then we have the STEM middle college track, and then you can go to all the CTEs. But every single 9th grader, when you come in, you all get the IB. Every single 9th grader gets an IB education, because we want you to be able to have that choice. And then as we're looking at that, we look at, okay, well, who's doing well here? Who needs that type of support? Who needs tier 2, tier 3? And we pay our teachers to do EWIMs, the early warning, look at, like, okay, do you have the right people in this tier 2 situation? And so if we give everybody that high rigorous curriculum, and then meet them where they are, to get them to be able to meet that need, and be able to grapple with the fact that there's challenges, grapple with the fact we got attendance issues, grapple with the fact that we got the highest mobility. But no matter what, we've got to teach them that skill set, the mindset, all of those things, to ensure that they know they are scholars and that they're going to be prepared. So you set up the system for the equity. Everybody's got to do it. Your expectation is IB. That's the expectation. So setting the expectations, and then scaffolding along the way to make sure that every single one of them meet it. Everyone. And if it's not, then who is it? Because I know for me, if Lena and Cordell, my children didn't make it, that wouldn't be okay. So whose child would it not be okay for? and then holding each other accountable to that. So if it's, you can't blame the special ed department, you can't blame the math department, the science department. We are all held accountable, all of us, to every single scholar. And so that we know that, and not accountable in a nasty way, accountable in a way of, okay, how might I do it? What might I need to do? How might my social workers help? How might my CTE people bring this into the CTE classroom so that it's more interesting? Well, we all have to be responsible to ensure that they get it.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. Hey, Dr. Smith, if you can hear me, go out and come back in. Hopefully you can hear me. Just go out and then log back in, and that should take care of you, unless there's something happening in your office on your end, right? Let me go to Dr. Kelley. Let me just bring it up here. I've been waiting for this one, actually, Doc. This is radical self-care. You know, we talk about self-care, self-preservation, but you prefaced it with radical self-care matters. Let me read this to the family. I couldn't fit it all on. They only give us 200 characters, so the rest of it I'll read from my notes. But you said looking within. No, I'm on the wrong one. Hang on. Radical. Why am I? Why? Wait. Oh no. I know what I did. I got the wrong one up. Where we at? Y'all bear with me a minute. My numbers are not good. I guess I was switching stuff around. That's what happened. Okay, here we go. Radical self-care, looking within ourselves, being honest about our values and the alignment of how and where we spend our time and expertise, embracing vulnerability, having safe spaces to do so are crucial steps in self-care. It's not just about spa appointments. It's about self-awareness, especially for leaders of color. Self-care is also about seeking support when you need it. A good therapist, a support group are essential for this journey. Radical self-care matters.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. It is, I'm just going to say to people who are listening, aspiring assistant principals, new APs, to learn from this OG. This is, I think, my 13th year as a superintendent. And I will tell you that I have been in spaces just because I could, that were not always the best space for me to be in, based upon my values, based upon, you started off by pointing out the author and what he wrote, and not knowing that that's how I decided to become a teacher, is because of that author. Yes, the book, The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. So I have always been in this career very focused on what I feel is my purpose in my work. And sometimes I have accepted opportunities in places and spaces where they may say that that's what they want, but not really. And also the way that you show up, if you're confident about your work and what you want to get done, is not necessarily appreciated based on the identity that you bring with you. So self-care is also being in a place that you can breathe, that you can be who you are, that you don't have to put on, as my mom and dad would say, airs and, pretend to be something else. Now, I'm not trying to judge if that's where you are right there, like, do you? But I have to say that I love where I am right now. I love that the babies that I get to serve look like me. I love that, if there's, something, that my county office might say or do that I feel like, I'm going to say that that's a microaggression. I'm going to say that, hey, you're not giving opportunity and access to all of the students here. And I think that just being in a space where you could be you and you could use your voice unapologetically and you could fight for, what you believe your purpose is, that is self-care. So, trying to find that space that's right for you, that's comfortable for you, where you don't feel as if you have to constantly, and we all will have to like put on an armor, so to speak, just based on our role. But you don't constantly have to fight, and pretend to be something that you're not. That is self-care.
Let me stay with you for a little bit.
Hmm.
So I'm a school administrator. I'm a principal somewhere. I'm an assistant principal somewhere, or maybe even central office, wherever it is. But I'm obviously representing somebody. I'm stressed out of my mind.
Mm.
Right? This work is overwhelming,
Hmm.
and it's coming from all directions. It's coming from you, superintendent. It's
Hmm.
coming from the community. It's coming from parents. It's coming from the students, and it's particularly coming from my staff. It's coming from all over the place.
Hmm.
I don't know what to do, but I don't want to relinquish the job. Let me be honest, representing somebody, because I'm not really ready to relinquish this salary. Right.
Mm.
I've grown accustomed to this salary, and I cannot find, I'm not qualified to do anything else in the world and make this kind of money. Right.
Right, right,
So when you talk about finding the space,
right.
I want to go deeper with this.
Yeah,
Help me. What might that space look like? I know that could be unique to the individual, but
right, right,
just
right,
give me some guidance on
right,
where I can find some kind of relief to
right, right,
this overwhelming work that I'm doing right now.
right, right, right. I think that it will be a personal decision for you to do so. And I just had this conversation the other day with a friend. Not all money is good money. I'm just going to like come
Right.
out and say it. But you know, the reality is, people's realities, so if your reality is that, you just can't make a move, then what I would suggest to you is that you find other ways to be able to um, deal with, and I'm going to just call it what it is, that trauma of
Yeah.
your work
Yeah.
environment. For me, it was every week. There's a sister soup friend every Wednesday morning when I drive to work. We had that standing weekly call. For me, it's the NATSB space. Like that conference, annual conference, whether it's November, December, I try to make my way there if at all possible, because that's like a safe space. So if you just can't right now, and no judgment, that's okay, because of, other commitments that you have. And, sometimes those spaces need to see us as leaders. And that work is important. But when it gets to the point where it's really, making you question your worth, your identity, what you bring to the table, sometimes radical self-care is saying that I'm going to choose to do something else for me. And that, as the old commercials would say, I think it was American Express or Visa, priceless. You can't put a price tag on that piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said something. You said that NABC space.
Hmm.
I'm gonna, as they would say, go there for a second.
Okay.
So probably my fault. The way I post sometimes when I'm traveling, is as close as last night. I'll do a selfie sitting on a plane. Now,
Mm.
someone looking at that from the outside, it could be, man, I wish I was doing what he's doing. Right.
Mhm.
That's the life, man. This guy's
Mm.
always on plane, because I do a lot of those pictures. See, this guy's always on plane. He's always going somewhere, right? But what they don't see, it's brutal.
Mhm.
Right. Sometimes it's brutal being in the room with various different audiences, right? Because the client might love Principal Kafele, but the audience don't know he was even born. And now that I see him, I ain't really feeling him. All that kind of stuff. While he's talking, let me go on his social media page. Ooh, I don't like his politics, right? So so all that kind of stuff. Because I see him on the computer, and I'm usually thinking, y'all on my social media. I know you are. right? So
Yeah.
now you're trying to figure out who I am, what I'm about. So all that kind of stuff. So I'm saying that to say this. And then NAPSI comes up. And I'm going to throw another conference in there. Black Men in Education convening in Philadelphia with Sharif El-Mekki. So now those conferences come, those two. Now, I'm there as a presenter. However, that's just for an hour. I'm there all day. And the way that I'm affirmed in those two spaces. And let me just keep it real. I hope that my non-Black friends on here can understand this, empathize, relate to it to some kind of degree. That all these Black folks is walking up on me, Kafele, and you don't know what you've done for me. You don't know your impact. You don't know your influence. You have no idea. I'm hearing this all day. I need that. But I could, yeah, I'll do the breakout session for the hour, but it's that other stuff that's my space, right? And even when like if someone interviews me for a podcast or something, when I'm in those spaces, I tell them, I say, man, just being here has made me that much more whole.
Yeah,
because I needed to hear from my people that I bring value, right, to the work you do, whether it be through books, whether it be through video, whether it be through conferences, whether keynotes, whether it be through this platform, and a lot of it's this platform. But that's that space I need. So going back to what you said, one has to find that space.
Yeah.
And I found that those two particular conferences become my, and they both happen in like November, December-ish. So they both become my end of year. And it's not an ego stroke.
Right.
It's a reminder that, hey, Kafele, you matter.
Yes.
That's what I need.
Yes.
It is not fun going out this front door over here saying to my wife, I'll see you in a week, right?
Yeah.
I'll see you. That's ain't fun.
Yeah.
So y'all just see me doing the selfie on the plane.
Right.
I don't know what my motivation is behind that. I really don't. But I just don't want you to think that that's a glamorous life, because it is not. It is not, right? So I don't know that everything you said here just triggered me to say it. I've never said that on here, but it just triggered me to say that. And
and we appreciate you doing that. We know the sacrifice, and we appreciate your family for allowing you and giving you that space to do that, because we need you, and we need to hear the messages that you're providing. So yeah.
I appreciate that. Let's go, y'all. We up to Dr. Smith. Let me get my screen right. Let me see here where we at. And give me a second. Here we go. I changed these numbers around, so I don't know how this is going to work. Let's see. Here we are. I changed them in one place on the computer, but I didn't change it on my sheet. That's what happened. This is you, yeah. So you said principals are the key to success of a school corporation. If you feel like you've exhausted that in previous ones, I can go to a different one.
Hey, it is 100%. Let's keep going.
All right, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, here's one. Yeah. Here we go. Right here. Principalships have developed my understanding of how my school, my corporation operates. Leadership cannot be taken for granted.
No. I think often, for those of you out there, and I know most of your audience are assistant principals and principals, know your value. And I think I said it earlier, you are the stars of the show. I think inside of a public school corporation, these large corporations, we get it backwards. We think, well, the people over at central office are important. And I'm turning that upside down. I'm making it very clear to you that today and every day that you walk inside of that building, you are the most important person to that school corporation, to that superintendent, that board of education. Because if our number one goal is to educate kids, you are in charge of that every single day. You have an impact on teachers, instruction, and the success of those students. So at the end of the day, if you're a principal or an assistant principal, you're number one.
Number one. Yeah. And I just want to repeat that. Again, you're number one. You know, Doc, it's interesting. I'll hear it's pretty common for me to hear principals say, you know, when I'm talking like you just spoke, and a principal will say in a workshop somewhere, hey, Principal Kafele, let me just push back slightly on that. They'll say, Principal Kafele, it's not me though, it's my staff. My staff is doing the heavy lifting. My staff's coming here with high levels of morale. My staff is coming here with all this camaraderie. My staff is going the extra mile. And they'll you know, so I'm saying, I'm smiling when they say it because I hear it so often. And I say, Principal, I hear you loud and clear, but I got a question to ask you. I said, what if I take your staff and I airlift them to a place with a principal who's the antithesis of you? This person is unapproachable. This person is mean-spirited. This person is intimidating. This person does not go the extra mile. This person does not roll their sleeves up. This person is not friendly, all that kind of stuff. I say, do you think your staff would be the same staff in that new setting? And here's what they say 100% of the time. Man, I ain't think about it like that, Kafele. Yeah, hey, principal, that's you. That's your leadership.
That's your
leadership. Has created that culture, that environment. And you take that same friendly, hardworking staff and put them with some cranky, mean-spirited leader, they out of there at 3 o'clock with the students. See? Leadership.
Listen to this guy, folks. You know, Principal Kafele brings experience, but he brings a lot of research to the table. And the research says that the staff will stay in place overwhelmingly because of you, the principal.
Yes.
They are not going to stay in a building, and I'm talking about excellence in the building, without the principal. So that humble principal that says that, we're all humble leaders, but at the end of the day, you're the secret sauce.
Secret sauce, secret sauce. Let's do one more round, and then I know Dr. Kelley's got to cut out in a minute, but let's go one more round. Let me go with Dr. Kelley on this one because I know you got that hard stop. Where we at? Let me get my notes are kind of all over the place. Here we are. I just got to find where I changed it to because I definitely changed the order and forgot to do it on the computer. Here it is. All right. Another one I love. This could be too. Remember your why. Never forget your why or reason for becoming an educational leader. If you can write it down or take a picture of your why, do so and keep it where you can go back to it often. Our why motivates us, but it also keeps our actions aligned to our purpose. The reason we have been called to these roles. Remember your why.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, definitely. On a day-to-day basis, the work can get a little challenging, lonely, and there's a lot of things that will come at you. So the busyness of your days, your weeks, your months, you can get off track if you don't stay centered. And I am a firm believer of making your goals visible for yourself. Your why may be your own children. When you think about like what are the learning experiences or the lived experiences I want my own children to have or to have had in schools, your why might be, Principal Kafele, you were talking about like your experience in high school. It could be a picture of like yourself, and what you would have wanted, that experience to be. But keep that picture, that word where you could see it, whether it's the dashboard of your, the visor of on your car, in your office, on your computer, maybe somewhere, I have a vision board where I get dressed, but just keep that where you can see it so you can remember your why. And I have this habit of having a meeting with myself every week. Annually when I sit down and I think about like the goals and things that I want to accomplish, once a month, I kind of go back to that. And that could be something where you kind of go back to your why, just to make sure that as you're planning your meetings, that you're not forgetting the main purpose of why you are in your seat.
Y'all hear that? The purpose of why you are in that seat. I can't stress it enough. And, those of you who are the regulars, you know that's my area, man. I preach whole sermons on the why, your purpose, your reason, your because. But they matter. They matter. What is your purpose of sitting in that seat? And what's the goal attached to it? And what's the long-term vision? But we're gonna keep going, and because I wound up doing the sermon, right? So let's go. Let's do one more. Dr. Zachary Ross. And you said, let me just find it, because I switched these around and didn't do it on the computer. I did it all wrong, so I gotta find it. Let me see. Principal leadership. Where we at? I can't even find it. Here we are. I can't find this thing, man. I'm gonna have to read it. Here it is. All right, here we go. Principal leadership must be focused on disrupting the status quo to champion the urgent mission of transforming the lives and futures of our scholars. Before you go, Doc, I just want to emphasize one of the things you have on here. Disrupting the status quo. What are you saying?
Yeah, they should be inspectors around their buildings all the time, looking to disrupt that status quo, because there might be that little Baruti Kafele in their building.
That's right.
They're looking at their data. Like, are they being complacent, or are they really trying to really push the needle so that our scholars are future ready, so that every single one, that's when we talk about that equity, not one of them. What they say to old people, not near one.
Not near one.
In that building. And it's their responsibility, because this is when the principal, and I want to say the assistant principal too, because if you're trying to keep them in, if you're talking about the discipline, why? We talk about the how all the time. The what is the administrator, the what is the building, but the why. Why is it? Because you better disrupt that status quo, because we know already what the statistics are. So are you about transforming the statistics, changing that around, changing it around for every single scholar under your care?
That's right.
And so that's what they have to be focused on. If that lens is on compliance, if that lens is on just having them behave so that my building is quiet, if my lens is on just making sure that I just get the evaluations done, that's not good enough. We've got to move towards excellence. We've got to move towards ensuring that every single scholar is leaving out their very best, that they know who they are, that they know their strengths, their skill sets, so that they are, and that they are capable, not to just they graduate, that they really have the skills. So then, and they have to be able to champion it. And that's why I said champion it. So not just being the leader, but if you're assistant principal and you're sitting there with a quiet mouth, that's not okay. You better be telling the principal what you're seeing and what support is needed in those classrooms, what scholars are needing help. If you're the principal and you're not getting help and you're not talking to central office, that's not okay, because you got to champion the work. This is urgent. Urgent. They don't have another year in first grade. They don't have another year in 11th grade. So we have to be urgent about that mission. Of transforming what's happening in our schools, and about ensuring that they are ready for the future, because nobody else is there. We are the educators. We are the gatekeepers. We are the ones creating the next whatevers. We don't even know what they're going to be. So we've got to prepare them for whatever comes their way. And I believe that we have the educators there capable to do so.
There it is. Love it. Let's we got a few more minutes with Dr. Kelley lead, but we're done. But let's go through these rapid fires real quick. It's 21 altogether, 7, 7, and 7. These are no commas, man. Once you put a comma in there, you've gone far too long. I'm gonna say right. So just rapid fire. You can even give a one-word answer if you want. Here we go. Dr. Zachary Ross, do you feel that education is currently on the right path for underserved children?
No.
Do you feel that true equity can occur in America's schools for Black, Brown, and other underserved students?
Absolutely, if we stay focused.
Does Dr. Alena Zachary Ross's work contribute to the progress we desperately need?
Absolutely.
If you could do a reset on your life, would your line of work be different or the same?
It would be the same.
Why do you continue to do this work?
Because we're about transforming the future for this world.
What fires you up particularly within the work that you do?
The inequity that I see across education in America and across the world.
What do you dislike about the work you do?
I just like having to deal with adult issues more than focusing on instruction.
Dr. Smith, what has been your greatest victory in this work thus far?
Watching young people go from 0 to 10 become successful. I've been around long enough to see that. So many of my kids now are adults, and they have benefited from the thing.
Comment in there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, good. Okay.
What was your greatest mistake in the work that you do?
Greatest mistake in the work that I do, underestimating people, bad people.
What has been your greatest challenge in the work that you do?
Just pure politics.
Are you proud? Are you proud of your first year as an assistant principal?
Absolutely.
Are you proud of your first year as a principal?
Absolutely.
Who inspires you in this work?
The students.
What book would you recommend for our fam out there this afternoon that they need to read?
All of your books.
I appreciate you. Dr. Kelley, what do you want to accomplish that you have not accomplished yet?
I would say I've not yet accomplished 100% of my graduating seniors having definitive plans after high school.
Are you satisfied with where you are professionally?
Absolutely.
Is there another gear to your leadership, or are you at peak performance now?
Oh, always another gear.
What would you say to an assistant principal out there who continues to face closed doors to the principalship?
Keep going. You know what? You said no comma, so I'm going to just say keep going.
Keep going. What would you say to a leader out there who's lost their leadership passion?
There's a reason for that. Dig deeper.
Okay. What would you say to a leader out there who's lost their leadership confidence?
Call me. I'll give you that confidence back.
And lastly, if Dr. Carol Kelley was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Persistent.
If Dr. Alena Zachary Ross was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Unstoppable.
If Dr. Shawn Smith was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Servant leader.
Love it, love it, love it. To the fam out there, you know what we do. The ones who are veterans, give our guests your favorite emojis, which is our way of applauding our guests. And I'm applaud them like this for a minute and for a second. But give us your favorite emojis if today's session resonated with you, if it was interesting for you, if it was useful for you. You can incorporate or infuse it into your practice, or if it was just good stuff. Give us your favorite emojis. I see them coming. They actually started before I said it, but those of you who are new to the platform, but give us those emojis. While let me get my emoji. You know, I always use my Louisville Slugger while I'm wearing my Negro League St. Louis Stars jersey today. And every time you came to the plate, y'all hit it out the park. Grand slam. This was a powerful session. And in looking at the comments, I see every last one of them. And folks were loving this, and that's a good thing. Keep that applause coming, y'all. Keep it coming. I know you got to go, Dr. Kelley. So let me ask you real quick. How can the people, do you do any type of professional consulting or workshops or speaking? Is that part of what you do at all?
I do coaching for aspiring leaders, and
so therefore, let them know how they can reach out to you and how they can follow you on social media.
Sure. I think all my across the board, I'm at Dr. K for Equity. So definitely Instagram and LinkedIn.
That's why I couldn't find you or nothing. You hit Dr. K for Equity. Very good. Dr. Zachary Ross, I know you do. So give us what we need.
Come find me on LinkedIn, Alena Zachary Ross, Facebook, all of those. Thank you again, Principal Kafele.
I appreciate you. Dr. Smith, you do any consulting, speaking, anything?
Dr. Smith, I'm like you, Brother Kafele. I'm wherever you need me. If you email me, call me. I'm on social media. I will guarantee you I'll follow up with you.
There you go. There you go. So, Doc, I'm gonna close out. You have to leave, Dr. Kelley.
No, I have a couple more minutes.
All right, let me close out, and then when I finish, y'all stay on. All right.
Okay.
All right. So, folks, to the fam out there, I appreciate you always for tuning in. 305 weeks is a wrap now. We going into 306. So thanks for being here. Let me tell you about next week. Stay with me for a minute, fam. Next week, number 306. We'll launch Women's History Month. So I got 3 women from Birmingham, Alabama coming on. I'm calling it the Birmingham 3. Dr. Alicia Washington, Dr. Chandra Watkins, and Angela Smith. I have no idea what the topic is going to be yet. I never do on the same Saturday that I'm telling you this, but I'll come up with something. But I know it's going to be a powerful conversation because I've had opportunity to talk to all 3 of them. So it's going to be good. So tune in next week for the Birmingham 3. And then also while you're tune in at 10 o'clock, Shawn Hurt at 10 o'clock. These are all Eastern time, Facebook Live. Shawn Hurt at 10 o'clock, followed by Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor with Create and Educate, followed by 11 o'clock, AP New Principals Academy. And y'all know, I want y'all to watch on YouTube, right? But most of y'all on Facebook, I know it. I've been looking at it all day, but I want you to come on YouTube. I told y'all, when you go to YouTube, I can put a full tank of gas in the car, not just a half tank, right? So go to YouTube, right? Let me fill the tank, man, so I can get a few extra miles in it in my ride outside, right? And then on Sunday, the PGP podcast with Josh Tovar, Principal Josh Tovar, and Dr. Madi Moreno, right? That's 6 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Central. Make sure you get a copy. If you don't have a copy yet of What Is My Value Instructionally to the Teachers I Supervise, I should say, since we were talking about APs today, get this to the Assistant Principal 50, right? Matter of fact, let me just throw this one at you too. The Aspiring Principal 50 might be somebody out there that needs that one. I'm gonna throw one more at you. Is my school a better school because I lead it, right? So get all 4, right? I got quite a stack over there. I ain't gonna pull no more out, right? But God is good. Get yourself a copy. Hey, y'all, don't forget my annual School Leadership Institute in Savannah, Georgia. Go to principalkafele.com. Go there right now, scroll down, and then click the link, the tab, and then register and join us. This is the last day of the early bird special. We don't call it that, but I can't remember what my business partner calls it. So the last day of the discount, right? So register, and then I'll see you in July 9 and 10 in Savannah, Georgia. Byron Carter, if you're still out there, I call you out because you're from Jersey, and you weren't on my radar to invite you to our New Jersey Alliance of Black School Educators meeting the other day, but I just saw you. I made a note on my notes to make sure that I get you for our second one, which is coming up soon in March. And anybody else from New Jersey, if you didn't hear from us and therefore wasn't at the New Jersey Alliance of Black School Educators informational session, inbox me right now. Let me say it again. Inbox me right now. I'm talking about Jersey, folks, because last time I said that, people from all over the country were inboxing me. No, Jersey, just Jersey, right? Inbox me right now and say to me, I need the information, right? That's all you need to do, and I'll get it right to you. I got a webinar coming up on this on March 10th. So I'll announce it again next Saturday, but March 10th, NAESP, National Association of Elementary School Principals. We're going to take a deep dive on that pre and post observation conversation, right? We're going to take a deep dive on it, right? So join me. It's a free webinar, 3 o'clock, March 10th. Put it in your calendar now. How do you register? You can go to their website, naesp.org, or just go to my page on Facebook or Instagram. Scroll down. You'll see it. It's a picture of me with a yellow background. You'll see the link. And then just go on and register so we can talk to you on March 10th. Subscribe to the AP New Principals Academy YouTube channel. We are just about at 25,000 subscribers, which is huge. So make sure that you subscribe, be a part of that number. And then lastly, as I always close, your diet. Make sure you're eating right. Your exercise. Make sure you're getting it in. Y'all know I told you I was trapped in Charleston all week, because there were no flights back to North because we had a blizzard here. We had 2 feet of snow. Some people had 30 inches of snow. But guess what? While I was trapped down there, you think I use that as an excuse and not hit that treadmill? Nah. I was on it, y'all. I was on it. right? So make sure you're doing that. And then those virus precautions, man. There's so much out here. It's a lot out here. So just make sure you're taking care of yourself. That's what this is all about. So other than that, I see y'all next Saturday, 11 o'clock. Have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Flip it. Peace. Thumbs up. Now cock that fist all the way back. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Bam! I see y'all next Saturday, baby. I see you then. Y'all make sure you have a good week, man. Because we got a lot going on in the world, but I ain't going to get into it. You just make sure you have a good one.